needs to be taken away. Everything, by the way, almost everything that I see wrong with America starts in the 60s. Almost everything.
Yes.
Crazy. The 60s, like the 50s was the pinnacle of American sovereignty of America. And then the 60s is like the pinnacle of everything liberalism, and everything traces back to there. It's kind of crazy. Straight up to even taking God out of the public schools, like literally everything. You ask me a question, feminism, 60s, free sex movement, 60s, like everything goes back to 60s.
Right.
So it's very weird,
It was
actually.
actually late 60s, early 70s. The beginning of the 60s were still like the, pre-lapsarian 50s.
Yes.
But late 60s, 70s, that was it, the most destructive period in American history.
Yeah, so my generation, they want to repeal the Hart-Celler Act. We want to go back to 1921 or 1920s of
Yes.
when how did this? I don't remember how the system worked, but I remember something approximate to it, that you had a certain percentage of certain demographic groups in the United States, and
the idea was to mimic what was already here. I mean, the country had been around. It may not have, or at least America had been around as a colony for 200 years, but it had been around for 400 years, and it was going great. Everything it was prosperous and free, and you had de Tocqueville writing about what an amazing country this was. So the idea was, don't rock the boat. Basically, as we bring in immigrants, have it imitate the groups we already have here. That was it. And then Teddy Kennedy came in and said, let's start over. Let's haul in the third world. And basically overnight it switched from mostly Western European to more than 70% third world. I think approaching 90%.
I think you said in your book one third of Mexico we've allowed into the country. I think it's somewhere around there. I'm like, how many? This is your question. How many more do we need to? I'm like, one third is not enough. So this is exactly what my generation they want. They want to go back to that, as well as denaturalization, because this is like the pinnacle of this entire argument. That Democrats realize, this is your argument. Democrats realized they couldn't win a majority of the white population ever since the 60s, which they haven't been able to win. Maybe because that white Anglo-Saxon or Germanic or French kind of spirit where, no, we don't really want big government. Actually, we don't really want these things. Actually, we want to make it on our own. We actually came here specifically for these things. So since they couldn't make their case for the white Anglo-Saxons, they decided, you know what? There are a lot of third world people, or a lot of people who actually do want bigger government. They do want this kind of dictator, tyrannical-ish type of government. So we'll just import them, subvert the will of the people, just violate everyone's sovereignty. So this is why they're allowing these people in, and the big corporate side of the conservative side of the Republican Party was like, okay, well, what do we get out of it? Well, you're gonna get cheap labor. So at least they stood quiet about it. But this is exactly the crux of the whole situation. The whole situation about the border wall and all that, as Charlie Kirk said, it's a physical representation of where bad ideas end and good ideas start. That is physical representation. But the other side of it is, on the other side of it all, is that the border wall is and immigration, all of it is a question of sovereignty. Who gets to dictate? Who gets to vote in? Who gets to get elected? Who gets to decide the formation of our government and what the laws should be? Is it going to be third world people who just got off the boat, or is it going to be American citizens?
Yes. That's the crazy thing about illegal immigration and anchor babies. The idea that other people get to decide who an American is, but Americans have no say. It's nutty.
Absolutely.
No other country would do this to itself.